8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Foreign Minister inaugurates IORA Business Conclave 2024. Colombo Price Index drops to 0.9% in May. The UNICEF and National Youth Services Council join forces to promote youth-led climate action in Sri Lanka. The Maldivian Foreign Minister to visit Sri Lanka next week. The Central Bank helps to keep door open for more cut rates, but says future action would depend on data. 2023 GC Advanced Level results released, 64.33% qualified for the university entrance. Suspect arrested for stealing a British lady's handbag in a bus. In news overseas, China to suspend tariff concessions over 130 more Taiwan items. And in sports news, 5 Sri Lankan athletes for Chinese Taipei meet. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, M.U.M. Ali Sabri, in his capacity as the current chair of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, inaugurated the IORA Business Conclave on the 28th of May 2024 at the Shangri-La Hotel in Colombo. The Business Conclave under the theme Sustaining Growth, Bridging Horizons was organized by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce as the current chair of the IORA Business Forum in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the 28th to the 29th of May 2024. Over 80 participants from the business fraternity across the IORA region participated in the conclave. This is the highest number of participants recorded at an IORA business conclave. Addressing the gathering, Minister Ali Sabri stated that Sri Lanka, under its chairmanship, is actively working towards promoting the concept of blue economy and will work towards harnessing sustainable opportunities in the ocean-related industries with the goal of stimulating economic growth. He also added that enhancing regional connectivity through infrastructure also remains a priority for Sri Lanka, stating that Sri Lanka is looking at entering into many free trade agreements to gain greater market access. The keynote speech was delivered by the Secretary General of the Global Alliance for Sustainable Planet, Satya Tripathi, where he highlighted the importance of collaboration with the private sector businesses to harness resources. The National Youth Services Council of Sri Lanka has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the UNICEF in order to promote youth-led climate action in Sri Lanka. The partnership aims to benefit children and youth, especially those from marginalized backgrounds, by increasing critical awareness, making climate knowledge more language inclusive, building essential skills, and fostering collaboration among stakeholders in climate change and environmental conservation, the universe said in a statement. Signing today of the agreement by Christian Skog, UNICEF representative in Sri Lanka, and Pasitha Gunaratne, chairperson of NYSC, signifies a unified dedication to building a better future for children and youth by empowering them to lead and innovate in responding to climate change crisis, it added. Young people, especially children, are the most affected by the daily harsh realities of climate change, such as extreme heat waves, flooding, and disruption of lives. The consequences of these climate change episodes not only threaten the lives of the children in the intermediate term, but also have a long-term consequence in their opportunities to grow and develop, said Mr. Skoog. The agreement we have signed today further strengthens the mobilization of the young people to take center stage in all aspects of climate crisis in Sri Lanka, from defining the impact on their lives to contributing solutions that are relevant to the different contexts. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Maldives, Musa Zamir, undertake an official visit to Sri Lanka from the 3rd to the 6th of June 2024, the Minister of Foreign Affairs said. He is scheduled to pay courtesy call on President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena during the visit. The Foreign Ministry of the Maldives and his delegation will also have official bilateral discussions with the Foreign Minister Ali Sabri during the visit at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Foreign Minister Zamir will be accompanied by senior officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Maldives. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The results of the 2023 GC Advanced Level Examination have been released online, the Department of Examination announced. Accordingly, the results can be viewed on the website www.donets.lk. A total of 229,057 school applicants and 40,556 private applicants set for the GCE Advanced Level Examination 2023. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jasundara, stated that 151,343 school applicants have qualified for the university admission, while 22,101 private applicants have also qualified for the universities. Accordingly, a total of 173,444 applicants have qualified for the universities, which is a 64.33% of the total applicants. Meanwhile, the results of 190 candidates who had faced the examination have been suspended, while this also includes 44 private applicants, he said. Furthermore, the Department of Examinations has announced that the applications for re-scrutiny of the 2023 Advanced Level Examination can be submitted through www.onlineexams.gov.lk/EIC from the 5th to the 19th of June 2024. A 31-year-old suspect has been arrested in connection with stealing a bag of a female British tourist containing valuables worth 2.5 million rupees in a bus at the Bastion Mawatha station in Petta. The police said the suspect, a resident of Pethiago de Caleria, was arrested early this morning by a group of police officers from the Petta police. The police also recovered stolen valuables, including a camera, a laptop, bank cards, and the passport of the British national. Investigations revealed that the tourist, a YouTuber, had arrived in Sri Lanka to make a video on the country and was preparing to leave to Allah from Bastion Mawatha when her bag was stolen. Although the central bank said that the current monetary policy stance is appropriate to obtain and maintain inflation in line with their desired goal of 5% while supporting the recovery of the economy, they kept their door open for future rate cuts but said that depends on fresh data. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said that there is some space for further cuts in the monetary policy, but any future action would depend on data. Central Bank closely watches the economic data on inflation, predominantly on core prices, growth in private sector credit, and the growth in economic activities before they move in either direction. Currently, the economy is in a fine place with very mild inflation and growth picking up. The central bank's inflation projections do not show indications of prices going above the 5% level until the end of the year 2025. All eyes are now on the upcoming inflation report and the first quarter gross domestic product report from the Census and Statistics Department, scheduled to be released on the 15th of June. The Sri Lankan economy grew by 1.6% and 4.5% respectively in the third and the final quarters in the year 2023, setting the economy up for an accelerated expansion. As a result, the central bank said that they have also revised their growth forecast higher. While the eased monetary policy will certainly help to support growth, it does not have the growth mandate similar to what the fiscal policy has. Hence, Sri Lanka's growth, though would occur, is not going to reach its full potential until and unless the government loosens up its purse strings. For that to happen, Sri Lanka must discontinue its engagement with the International Monetary Fund, Dr. Veerasinghe said, as there is a slack demand and a negative output gap in the economy. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The Foreign Minister inaugurates IORA Business Conclave 2024. Colombo consumer price inflation drops to 0.9% in May. The UNICEF and the National Youth Services Council joined forces to promote youth-led climate action in Sri Lanka. The Maldivian Foreign Minister to visit Sri Lanka next week. The central bank keeps doors open for more rate cuts but says future action would depend on data. 2023 GC Advanced Level results released, 64.33% qualified for the university entrance. A suspect arrested for stealing a British lady's bag in a bus. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, the overall rate of the inflation as measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index CCPI on year-on-year basis decreased to 0.9% in May 2024, the Department of Census and Statistics says. Last month, the CCPI-based inflation was calculated at 1.5%, according to the latest figures published by the Department of Census and Statistics. On year-on-year basis, the inflation of food group dropped to 0% in May from 2.9% in April 2024, while the inflation on the non-food group climbed to 1.3% in May from 0.9% in April 2024. The contributions to the inflation rate of May 2024 from the food group and non-food group were negative 0.37% and negative 0.2% respectively. Meanwhile, the CCPI core in May 2024 decreased to 177.0 from 177.3 in April 2024, while the general price level increased by 94.1% compared to the index inference. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
And in Watchlight tonight, dengue cases are on the rise again in Sri Lanka, particularly in the Colombo, Gabha, Ratnapura, Nuwara Eliya, Kalutara, Kandy, Galle, Kurunegala and Kagala districts. The National Dengue Control Unit attributes this increase to the recent rates. Anuja Dhirasinghe, a community medical specialist, advises people to maintain clean surroundings to prevent mosquito breeding. As of now, there have been 24,323 reported dengue cases in Sri Lanka this year. The Colombo district has reported the highest number of cases, which is 5,212. 9 deaths have been attributed to dengue so far. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. Japan's orange juice makers caught in global supply squeeze. China to suspend tariff concessions over 134 Taiwan items. U.S. media Biden allowing Ukraine to attack some areas in Russia with U.S. weapons. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Japanese orange juice makers have been trying to cope with poor overseas harvests and the effects of weakened yen. They are turning to domestic farmers, but it is not that simple. A growing number of makers in Japan are suspending sales of their orange juice products. A big reason is that Brazil, the world's largest orange juice producer, is expected to suffer its worst crop in decades due to disease and poor weather. China says it will suspend tariff concessions for 130 Taiwanese products starting from 15th of June. Beijing appears to be intensifying pressure on Taiwan's economic sector in the wake of the inauguration of Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te. The Chinese government said today that the preferential tariff rates, which are stipulated for the Cross-Strait Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement and currently apply to the items, will be halted. Major U.S. outlets say President Joe Biden has given Ukraine permission to use U.S.-supplied weapons to strike some limited areas inside Russia. This is an apparent shift in the U.S. policy. Biden administration had only allowed Kiev to use U.S.-supplied weapons to fight against Russia inside Ukraine. Political news website Politico and other outlets quoted the U.S. government sources in news reports that they issued on Thursday. And that was the world news.
Development news.
Sri Lanka and Pakistan have agreed to explore the possibilities of increasing air connectivity by launching direct flights from Colombo to Islamabad, a top source said here. Currently, direct flights from Colombo are operated only to Lahore and Karachi in Pakistan. The need for increased air connectivity was discussed at a meeting between the visiting Sri Lankan State Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious Affairs and Cultural Affairs Vidra Vikramanayake and Minister for Religious Affairs and Interfaith Harmony of Pakistan, Chaudhry Salik Hussain. Sri Lankan High Commissioner in Pakistan, Ravindra Wijegunawardena, who was present, briefed the current status of the air links between the two countries and stressed the importance of increasing flight operations. That is the development news. Sports news coming up.
Moving on with sports news.
And in sports news, Gayatika Beratna, Nadisha Ramanaka and Tharushika Ratna left the island yesterday to compete in the Chinese Taipei Open Athletics Championship to be held from 1st June to the 3rd. Aruna Darshana and Dilhani Lekhamge are scheduled to reach Taipei from China today. Asaka Rajakarra is the manager and the coach of the team. Aruna Darshana was placed first in the 400 meters in China, while Dilhani Lekhamge was not up to the expectations, was placed 6th with 53.52 meters throw in China, and she is expected to improve her distance in this road to Olympic meet. The Sri Lankan promising athlete Tharushika Ratna, who did not complete her races due to injury, will compete in this meet to focus on Paris Olympics. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
LOLC Finance PLC, the largest non-banking financial institution in Sri Lanka, has reported exceptional performance, recording 21.5 billion rupees profits for the financial year 2023-24, with 39% year-on-year growth, representing an ROE of 20%. This outstanding performance underscores the company's strategic excellence and robust market position, achieved through a series of strategic consolidations and a steadfast commitment to cost efficiency, digital transformation, and customer centricity. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, an inspired strategic move to rejuvenate foreign investment in the real estate sector, the Sri Lankan Department of Immigration and Emigration has introduced the Investor Visa program. This revamped initiative, aimed specifically at non-Sri Lankans interested in purchasing condominium units, is set to go live online on 1st June 2024. The announcement followed a successful meeting held on 22nd May 2024 at the department's headquarters. That is the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report, the Met Department says the prevailing strong windy conditions over the island is expected to decrease temporarily during the next few days. Showers will occur at times in the western, Sabarakamuwa, central and the southern provinces. Several spells of showers will occur in the northwestern province as well. Fairly heavy showers, about 35 millimeters, are likely at some places in the western and Sabarakamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Nuwara Eliya districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva, north central and eastern provinces and in the Mullaitivu district in the evening or night. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Foreign Minister inaugurates the IORA Business Conclave 2024. The Colombo consumer price inflation drops to 0.9% in May. The UNICEF and the National Youth Services Council joined forces to promote youth-led climate action in Sri Lanka. The Maldivian Foreign Minister to visit Sri Lanka next week. The central bank keeps doors open for more rate cuts, but says future action would depend on the data. 2023 GC Advanced Level results released. 64.33% qualified for the university entrance. A suspect arrested for stealing a British lady's bag in a bus. In news overseas, China to suspend tariff concessions on over 130 more Taiwan items. And in sports news, 5 Sri Lankan athletes for Chinese Taipei meet. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your Friday evening host, our good friend Saudi, to keep you entertained.